Hey guys, the American Psychedelic back with another video. This one is titled Mentalmorphism. I am writing this to share some of my experiences with marijuana, a drug that is, in my opinion, extremely understudied and highly misunderstood. It was this very plant that first pried me from reality as I once knew it, unraveled the fibers of my conscience, and for that I'm ever grateful. It takes a drug-induced experience to truly reveal the potential of the human mind. I sincerely believe we all have the ability to interact with a multitude of altered mind frames. Each one unique, each one with something to offer, and we delude ourselves by refusing to accept this. My endeavors with marijuana has taught me this. To limit one's consciousness is to deprive oneself. Reality is essential multifaceted. There is too much more to life that remains unexplored by many of us, and psychoactives serve to inform us of all these vast possibilities. Ever since the first inhalation, I have been intrigued by the effects of marijuana. I'm not a spiritual person, and yet I would certainly describe the marijuana high as nothing short of enlightening. Being a man whose religion consists of logic and reasoning, marijuana shook the foundation of my straight and narrow principles. I have been very anti-drug prior to experimenting with marijuana and saw no value in altering my perfect neurochemistry. Little do I know that was far from perfection, and that was the first introduction of cannabinoids into my body would gradually blossom into something which, until this day, fascinates me. I did not learn much from my first encounter with the drug. Being unaccustomed, my memory was very jagged, and I could not recall specific emotions and thoughts whilst under the influence. The only solution to this age-old dilemma, as I have now discovered it, is to continue using it. The brain has a wonderful way with chemical intervention. It can adapt and respond in a more positive fashion once it's been exposed to a substance for a prolonged period of time. As of now, 2 years after my first sketchy encounters, my ability to recall thought has dramatically improved while under the influence, as have other aspects. My motor function still remains impaired, but only to a slight degree. When I concentrate, I find that I still inhabit controlled dexterity with tasks such as drawing or percussion, both very rewarding whilst high. But when I am in a situation where I can release my focus and simply let the drug take over, such as in the shower, something peculiar occurs. I can feel almost as if each and every part of my body is fixed to an axis, and my movement is restricted to rhythmic, repetitive cycles. I can easily control this feeling, but I see no reason to, for I do enjoy it, strange as it may sound. I also become aware of a sort of separation between mind and body. My body becomes a mere minion of my brain, a robotic mass of rhythmic muscle contractions, difficult to describe in words. In all their peculiarity, it is during these occurrences that I can let my mind roam free. I can only achieve this during times when I am alone, and for me, the shower seems to be ideal area for cannabis-inspired contemplation. My imagination has no horizon. I spontaneously jump from one random thought to another, most of which manifest a type of creativity which I normally do not possess. I can always seem to generate a series of random imagery at will, and the clarity with which I can envision them is beyond what I can accomplish sober. The only negatives that present themselves are the fact that much of these thoughts and images are indeed random and in fast succession, and it is difficult to process them so that I may recall them later. I am adapting to this, slowly bringing back more and more thoughts and feelings from the marijuana experience, and although not all of them are in use, I find it quite intriguing, if not a little befiddling. Long trains of spontaneous, creative thoughts are typically not my character. Much of what I think and do while high in marijuana is quite out of character for me. I undergo what I call metamorphism and change very difficult for others to detect, even those very close to me, for it is of purely cerebral nature. The way in which I convey myself seldom changes, even when I am overly intoxicated, yet there are differences in my mannerisms that are so intriguing as to only be recognized by myself. I will show a greater interest in the arts at times, especially music, art, even cooking. A song will have much more depth. Lyrics and instrument tend to embody emotions that can only seem to be derived while high. The effects of sound and its ability to evoke thoughts and feelings are heightened. A good work of art will open itself up when the beholded through enlightened eyes. This could be painting, literature, a movie, and cooking becomes a journey, a quest motivated by the will to create something worthy of my taste. My lack of cooking skills does not allow me to develop anything special, but the pleasure of eating while high can make any culinary monstrosity taste exceptional. The taste sensation experienced under the influence of marijuana are quite astonishing to me. I would say that it is the sense most adversely affected. Deep fried foods release their warm, oily flavors, and their crunchiness is exemplified. Mashed potatoes have a profound, smooth, earthy text, and meats feel partially moist and firm against the teeth, and the list goes on. It takes longer for me to finish a meal simply because flavor sensations become more intense, and I will savor them almost to excess. I remember consuming a bowl of popcorn one night and one kernel after another, tasting each one individually because that was all that was necessary. These are just a few of the effects of marijuana that I find particularly interesting. There is indeed much to be learned as the limits of human perception. As I have concluded from my usage of the drug, there really is no limit to be spoken of, only factors which cause limitation. In this day and age, the media strikes me as one such factor, spreading mass amounts of unsupported claims and misinterpretation. I do, however, see this as a warning trend. Society is slowly becoming more informed. My relationship with this profound plant still progresses, and I am continuing in my efforts to make sense of the drug's impact upon my thoughts and feelings. I hope one day to be able to harness the power of marijuana to strive ever forward in my passion to seek alternate levels of consciousness. We have only one life to live. Why not live it a variety of different ways?